Welcome to Tactical Reviews for a look at the Polforce Tactical 8 and Tactical 9. These are the versions of the Last Blood, the Rambo Last Blood knives that have been optimised for use as opposed to the full sort of movie knife version. And you'll see as we look at these quite a few differences. I haven't got the movie knife versions for a direct comparison, but they are slightly reduced in scale and weight to make them a more everyday usable knife, but based on the designs for the movie. So I'll just put the 9 to one side. And we'll start by looking at the Tactical 8. So I have a bit of cord and some instructions by the look of it for taking the handle scales off. A certificate. So immediately you can see as a difference from the movie knives, we have a Kydex sheath, not a leather sheath, which is a very similar construction to other Polforce knife sheaths. And this version is the black coated version. There is a plain uncoated one. And these come, the Tactical 8 and 9 are a D2 steel. So you can really give it some hard use and know this is a reliable steel to So what I can't show you here is, according to the specifications, both the Tactical 8 and 9 are slightly reduced in scale from the Last Blood knives. And in a moment we'll go through a detailed technical specification for this. And now moving on to the Tactical 9. Again, this is the BK, so the black coated version. Again, small bag of instructions and a certificate. So immediately here we can see with the bigger knife, the Tactical 9, this has got an actual leg strap rather than with a buckle, rather than just a piece of cord. You can see the distinctive texturing on the handle. So an immediate observation with the Tactical 9 versus the movie knife is the lack of the sub hilt. So we have a pronounced first finger grip, but no sub hilt. And again, I don't have a movie knife to show a direct comparison, but this is a slightly shorter and more manageable version. It's still a large knife. D2 steel. As with the Tactical 8 typical pole force Kydex sheath. Very little reflection to show the shaping of the edge. And now we're going to move on to the detailed measurements of both of these knives. Just a quick revisit with the Tactical 8 here. It's the same for both the Tactical 8 and 9. The little packet with cord and some instructions that came with the knife. This is actually for the fitting of a lanyard. If we take a look at the end of the handle, you can see just about there are some holes going into the end of the grip, and you can't see a hole for the lanyard apart from the fact the bolts are hollow, but there's a proper position to fit that lanyard. So we're just going to run through that now and have a look. So it's our piece of cord. And the instructions. Okay, so I had prepared 2 screwdriver bits to loosen the handle bolts, but it looks like one of the 2 halves of the bolt is captive and only one side undoes. So following those instructions, we're going to undo the bolts on that side of the handle. So that's the 2 handle bolts loosened. So the right hand grip. And just pushing onto the bolts, I can slide the grip. And that's off too. You see a good amount of lubricant on the inside of the grips. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. So the lanyard hole, which is concealed, so if we pop the cord through, it will be easier to get this centered now than when the grips are back on. So that's centered. Let's bring the grip back on. And you can see, well, I can see there's a flat on the bolt, and where that lines up with, so they will only go in one exact orientation. And we make sure that the cord isn't trapped under the handles. Spin these bolts in with my fingers. And final tighten. And there we have. So same technique for the tactical 8 and 9 with the concealed lanyard hole, taking the grips off to be able to fit the cord, which you can then tie as required. So in this section I'm going to go through all the detailed technical measurements for the tactical 8. So first of all, the weight of the whole package sheathed. So we have 538.7 grams. The overall length in the sheath. So slightly more than my 30cm rulers, but let's just work that out. So that is 34.5 centimeters overall length in the sheath. The sheath is 75 millimeters wide. And taking into account the thickness here, and 39.4 millimeters. Now the weight of the knife on its own, 373.3 grams. And just over 30 centimeters, so we have 31.2 centimeters overall length. Blade length is 17.5 centimeters. look at the thickness of the handle. So this is a nicely shaped and contoured handle. The back of it is pretty evenly wide here, and that's 24 millimeters. We take the finger pump for the maximum depth, so 32.2 millimeters handle depth. We're going to look for the balance point now. Okay, so with the shaping of the handle, this is actually a little bit difficult to... So on the flat, it's a little bit weight to the rear, just forward, and it wants to slide. So the balance point is somewhere between, to be roughly there. So that makes it approximately 18.5 centimeters balance point from the tip. Okay, blade thickness. Actually, just as a brief comment for those that might notice, I use a couple of different vernier calipers. I've got a plastic one, fibre reinforced plastic, just to try and avoid marking up the blades when I'm clamping it on. So there are some measurements I'll use a steel caliper for, and some I'll use the plastic, which I know is less accurate, but it doesn't matter that much. So 5.9 millimeter blade thickness. Take a look at the primary grind here, which is flat grind. And the length of that grind (21.5 millimeters). Maximum blade depth 36 millimeters. And here we're going to look at the primary bevel angle. And that is so 14 degrees and 50 seconds. Okay. So I often make the comment, we're going to look at the factory edge now, But bear in mind that really, if you're going to use a knife, that original factory edge, it's a nice to have, but you're going to reprofile it and get it exactly how you want. So this is less of a critical point, more of just a nice to have out of the box. So this is the laser edge bevel protractor. So we have (20°) on the right bevel and 20 degrees on the left bevel. So nice and even 40° inclusive angle. Take a look at the point angle just to see how good at penetrating the point will be. And we have a 34.5° point angle. Just going to take a measurement of the thickness behind the edge. So we have 0.89mm behind the edge. So with the Mark 8, you can see this is a straight blade, so I put there being no rake. And now we'll take a look at that factory edge for how sharp it is. So centre first. Okay, slight pause, new batteries. And we're back. So, factory edge centre. (251 grams). Factory edge heel. (286 grams). And the factory edge tip. (293 grams). So that's the detailed run through for the Mark 8. onto the 9. And now we move on to the tactical 9 and its detailed measurements. So for this weight I need to flip it over. This is the full weight. So you can't quite see, but there is nothing touching apart from on the scales, and that is 661.3 grams. So overall length in the sheath, which is 37.5 centimeters. Sheath width is 80 millimeters. Thickness 48 millimeters. Now we go for the weight of just the knife. £471.5 grams. So now overall length of just the knife. £34.3 centimeters. Blade length. So this is one of those that compared to the movie knife is going to be a little shorter. So we still have a 20 centimeter blade. So we've got quite a textured surface here, so picking the point for the handle thickness. So 23.7 millimeters, and we'll use the top of the finger retainer, and that's 35.9 for maximum handle depth. Look at where this will balance. Okay. So the balance point is at one of these difficult positions for it to be balanced. That's probably the closest I can get. And that is 20.3 centimeters from the tip. So in this case the balance point is slightly forward of the first finger, unless you take a forward grip. Blade thickness. 5.9mm, the same as the Tactical 8. Take a look at the grind, and that is a flat grind with the primary bevel. Approximate grind length is 25mm. Blade depth is obviously, with all of this contouring, let's take this as the maximum. .42mm. And measure the primary bevel. There may be some variation with the recurve edge, so I'm going to have a look in a couple of different spots. Okay, so that is 12 degrees exactly. I'll just check in a different place. And there is a slight difference, and it's 12 degrees and 10 seconds at this area. So take a look at the factory edge and the factory edge bevel. So the right hand factory edge bevel is 16 degrees and the left hand edge is 18 degrees. So 16 and 18. Point angle. Point angle is 44 degrees. Have a look at the thickness behind the edge. So this measurement is just at the top of the edge bevel, and it's 0.85 millimeters. Now if you take the bolts to indicate a centre line of the handle, there is a small rake. So an estimate of a 6-degree rake. And now last up, is the factory edge sharpness measurements. So center, 207 grams. The heel of the blade, 251 grams. Move this a bit to have room to do the point. It's 263 grams, and that's the technical specifications for the Tactical 9 from Pohl Force. So thank you for joining me in this look over the Tactical 8 and Tactical 9 from Pohl Force. And remember, get informed, be prepared, stay sharp.